Haven't really shown many of my rollers on video yet, so I'm going to do a little bit of that today. This is probably one of the better hens I've bred in the last few years. Blue bar self hen. She is 2014, and in the air she was just a little buzzsaw, very short, very fast roller, not deep at all, a few feet, which is actually, in my opinion, what we want is the highest velocity possible. Bloodline wise, I've been with these since the 1980s. Originally they had some birds down from Joe Borges and Joe Kiser in them, some Sparks birds, 272 stuff, a little bit of Hatcher Plona back in there, way back in there. There was a tort hen that was a 1978 black banded Hatcher hen that was off some of the birds that Tom Hatcher started with from Stan Plona back there. That was before he created the Continental line. And some Ouellette old stock whites are back in here. Originally there were about 6 pigeons behind this family, most of them different bloodlines, and this line has been kept straight since 1984, 1985. There hasn't been a feather added from those original 5 birds, and pretty much all the birds I have down off of these, they're all self birds, pretty much all identical in type. I get blue bars, I get dark checks, I get the occasional red check and the occasional mealy, and that's about it. And they are very fast spinning birds. That is what I'm after with them. I've got other rollers that are deeper and more frequent. These guys tend to be later developing, so basically they are the old Pensum stuff is the best way to put it. Came down from the handful of old timers and old lines that were available back in the 1980s, and they've just been kept straight all these years. Strictly bred for flying, no consideration for color. Here's a cockbird from my self line. Was bred this year to the blue bar hen you just saw. Red check self, split for blue, and he's pretty typical. Also a good roller in his day. He is a 2013, a little bit of a henny cockbird, not very dominant, but he was a very sound roller and very typical for this line. As I said earlier, they only come down out of 5 birds originally, over 30 years ago now. And they're not really, even though they trace back to a lot of old, very well-known lines like the 272s and the Plonas and Sister Hen and Clay Hen and the 514s, they're very much my line. They've been bred this way for 30 years now without any outcrosses. Strictly for velocity has been my primary consideration with them, is wanting to produce as close to the ideal as possible for the individual roller. It's a young bird of my self line that off my number 1 pair that I put away for breeding. I put this round, or in her clutch mate, away for breeding purposes. I don't have a lot of birds left in this family due to falcon problems. It's a dark check self. The beak seems to indicate that it has smoky factor, which a lot of these do. They had smoky blue bars. It's a mixed tail. This is the only bird in the family I've actually got with any white on it apart from the rump. This one was just starting when I put it away, and now that the hawks are here, I figured, well, I would better be safe than sorry and make sure I've got plenty of stock birds in this line to keep on going. This is the clutch mate to the dark chick with the white tail feather. This one's pretty typical. Another dark chick. These were bred individual coop. Blew them a short time. Started to see a little bit of roll. They're going through a molt now. And needless to say, with the hawks coming in, I just put them away. Figured best to sit on them. I think this is probably a cock. It's pretty typical. Ugly dark checkers. Which pretty much in this family I have dark checkers and I have blue bars and I have red checkers and a couple mealies, and that is pretty much it in these. I don't really get a lot of variation because of how inbred and line bred they've been over the last 30 years, and the fact there's nothing else in them. Kind of what you see is what you get. This is probably my best stock hen in my self family. She is a 2012. Spread down off a very old pair, bred in the 90s. So she was a lot closer to some of the earlier ones in the family, and she is an exceptional stock hen. I bred some dark chicks off of her that were just 3 hens, 3 dark check hens, 1 red check hen, and a dark check cock. That the hawk unfortunately got the cock. That all 5 of them were just little burners, just short, sound, fast rollers. So probably as time goes on, now that she has established herself as definitely the dominant stock hen in the line, she will be the new foundation. That's how you do this. You gradually improve. You use the best you have and you breed up from those exclusively. Try to perpetuate the best you have and carry on each generation forward. And she's a little longer than I would like. She's showing openness at the back at the moment. She's actually eggy. I'm still trying to push her and her mate for another round. She made it to a blue bar cock. And she is the mother of the 2 squeakers you just saw that I put away. And like I said, she is eggy. When you have something good, you work it and you work it and you work it some more. It's what J. Leroy Smith used to tell people years and years ago when he was alive, 50 some years ago. He said you use the best you have and you work them and you work them and you work them and you keep going that way. And needless to say, that is what I'm doing, is I'm trying to get a couple more squabs going into the winter off of the number 1 hen here. And she was a fine roller in the air, and in turn she was has been an exceptional stock hen for me. And I do have the red check cock you saw in the video earlier. He is actually a son of this hen from her first year. And I have a couple of other birds in the stock loft. The 3 dark check hens and the red check self I mentioned earlier, those 4 hens, I put those in the stock loft. So I do have quite a bit of her going right now. It's another pair of my selfs. This is a red check self hen. She is off of the old dark check hen, the 2012 hen. And she was fabulous in the air. Just a short, fast roller, which is really what I want. I'm not with these. I'm not too concerned about depth. I just want them to roll as soundly as possible. And as I said, she was truly exceptional. Going late in the year here, she's bred to a blue bar self from the same family. This is actually this blue bar is actually the uncle of the 2 squeakers you saw. He's a full brother to the current mate of the dark check self hen.